Tarumbeta italia katika anga.
Like this.
He's a chief goon in this country.
My lord.
Ndio.
I wonder.
Ni goon si goon.
Konene. So, story ya Gachagua na Ruto inaendelea kuwa very interesting. So, kuna vile Gachagua alikuwa anakuwa interviewed na akasema kitu interesting. And the story was that one of the reasons why he can come out and talk about nearly slapping the president is because the president used to insult him. Alafu anapatiana a situation whereby like rais alikuwa anaenda China, na kama juzi rais akijoke juu ya vile yeye anaenda China na jihumble. Akienda China kuna vile walifika kwa airport and he was being insulted in front of wase wengine. So ilikuwa kwa SPM bus ilikuwa ni he used to insult me in front of his staff. Yet I'm a year older than him. Rigathi Gachagua explains why he almost slapped President Ruto. Na historia yake kusema he almost slapped Ruto, of course to remind pia Ruto akisema that he almost slapped Uhuru. So I guess inakuwa ni a new thing because siku za kina Moi you are not almost slapping the president. Is this vice president alikuwa anashangaa, lakini kuanzia vice president akuwe deputy, I guess kumekuwa na a certain level of freedom. So wacha tusikize.
Unasema ulikuwa ukizungumza kwa heshima, ila umejitokeza hadharani ukasema kuna wakati karibu mpige kofi. Sijui hilo unaweza ita ni heshima ama ilikuwaje ikafikia wakati karibu mpige kofi?
Iko siku moja amenitukana pale kwa airport. Alikuwa anaenda China. Iko Chief of Defense Forces hapo General Kahariri, iko Felix Kosea, iko Kidiki hapo, ananitukana majina chafu. Nikamwambia usinitukane mbele hawa. Si ndio? Kama unataka kunitukana si awacha hao watoke unitukane. Mwanaume kwa mwanaume. Mimi ndio I am older than him. I'm older than the president. No. I'm saying I'm older than him by 1 year. So mimi ni kiongozi. Mimi pia ni mzazi. Pia mimi ni mtu ameheshimika na watu wengi. Huwezi kunitukana kama mtoto ati kwa sababu wewe ni rais. Mimi pia nilichaguliwa kama yeye. So lakini mimi sikutaka kumjibu, nikamwambia rais, hakuna haja unitukane mbele yao wafanyikazi yako.
Sawa, mheshimiwa, niruhusu nikuulize swali moja.
Nikamwambia rais kuna haja unitukane mbele ya watu wengine. Inakuwa very interesting how people always bring up your story ya watoi. I don't know how I feel about it, but if kwa umetukanwa na watoi wako hapo, unaenda kuambia ulitukanwa ama what happens? And that's number one. And it's also one of those things where it makes people forget that a lot of people wake up every day to go to very shitty jobs, and in those shitty jobs they are treated like shit, and they don't go and tell their kids, you know what, nearly treat you like shit. So I don't understand that argument. That's number one. And also, when your kids are adults, they should be mature enough to know how life works, that life is not this perfect thing, blah blah blah. But yes, so hii ndio kitu moja ile Gachagua alibonga juu yake. And but now it got interesting because apparently akifanya hiyo interview he ended up releasing an audio clip, and in this audio clip ni yeye akitukanwa na nani anaitwa nani Sudi jo, and Sudi went ham on him mpaka nashindwa like damn. I don't know when specifically history ya Sudi ili happen, but Sudi sio alikuwa ametumwa na Ruto, and alikuwa super disrespectful, and you can actually see this is Sudi. Unajua we live in a time where sometimes you can't trust everything that you hear, but this is actually Sudi jo. Na Sudi alikuwa I think the only thing ilikosa from hapa ni yeye kumita Mr. Dorcas. Lakini wacha tusikize.
Wewe ni matako sana wewe shetani. Wewe tulikusaidia mtu mjinga, mtu bubu. Wewe ni mtu kasia. Wewe nataka nikwambie na usikie vizuri. Hautawahi kuwa chochote hii Kenya. Na number 2, utuletee mashamba unasema tumeiba. Hata point moja just bring na useme ndio hii. Sudi uliba hii, ama William aliba hii, ama Korora aliba hii. Wewe ni mtu mafi. Na wacha nikwambie wewe Rigiji, utajua sisi ni wanaume tulitahiriwa. Tuko na makende ya kutosha. Matako wewe.
Damn. Sikia hiyo. Utajua sisi ni wanaume tulitahiri. Sasa hiyo unajua zile wale wajaga wako kwa government wako. Sasa umeingiza kutahiri kwa nini? Unataka tupigane dondi. Ndio tujue nani. So yeah, this is Kenyan politics, man, and inakuwaga sad that it gets this ugly and it gets this personal. So I don't know if Rigiji knew that his days were coming to an end, and that's how he ended up like recording this. And you have to think about it and be like, when did this call happen? Was he still deputy president? Because that's what he's implying. He was still deputy president. And try to imagine you're deputy president and you're being treated like shit. That's the worst thing. Equal deputy, because you have power and you don't have power. Ushasikia story like kuna story moja I think Watenge alikuwa anatupea ya vile kuna buda fulani alikuwa anapiganga Moi coffee hizo siku za kitambo, and eventually Moi rose and became the president, and that guy could never face Moi, and somehow Moi let the guy just retire in peace. It's interesting. I don't know, your story how Watenge is one of those ones that make me feel like, damn, how could that happen? And it's the same thing, because try to imagine hii time yote when Rigiji, hata kuna that famous photo of him akiwa pale akipanda ndege akienda majuu. If anything had happened to the president where the president was incapacitated, this guy would have ended up being president. And now everyone like akina Sudi who had treated him like shit, angekuwa pale iko nene ulisema nini kunihusu. Alafu kwa hiyo call pia, like one of the things that stand out is where wanamwambia that we made you from nothing, kitu kama hiyo. Like wacha tusikize hiyo call and I'm there like, really, did you actually make this guy from nothing?
Wewe ni matako sana wewe shetani. Wewe tulikusaidia mtu mjinga, mtu bubu. Wewe ni mtu kasia. Wewe nataka nikwambie na usikie vizuri. Hautawahi kuwa chochote hii Kenya.
Damn, hautawahi kuwa chochote hii Kenya. I guess that's because of the impeachment. So they are betting on him never ever coming back. But we live in a country where the judiciary can be compromised. So all we need to is a certain level of judiciary to say that his impeachment was not 100. And then he can be able to come back. But yo, umesikia jo, wewe ni shetani, wewe ni gasia. And but now why release this, especially considering that you're talking about your kids? Why do you need to release this if your kids are the sort of people who maybe might lose respect for you because you got disrespected by Oscar Sudi? Why would you release this? But damn, yeah? Alafu unachikile Oscar yo itaga nani? Ruto ni William.
Na number 2, utuletee mashamba unasema tumeiba. Hata point moja just bring na useme ndio hii. Sudi uliiba hii ama William aliiba hii.
So, zira zina dare Gachagua baki ametokea atuambie what was stolen. Kuna vitu zile Gachagua usemaga zile sometimes I believe them, then baadaye they don't make sense to me, because kama hii moja alikuwa anasema that this guy is worth 4 trillion right now. Might he end up being worth 4 trillion in the future because of how much maybe he's stealing right now? Yes. Is he worth 4 trillion now? If you had to remove 4 trillion from hii economy yetu, I think you'd shake it a lot. Because ukionaga like target za KRA in a year inakuwa 3 point something. So for this guy to have made hizo trillion zote in that short time, I don't know, unless kuna ile haimekigi sense. So kuna time where I feel like it's exaggerated, but does that mean that of course I think he's made hundreds of billions, that one I think so. Why? Because it does not make sense how everywhere that he goes he just donates 50 million, 20 million. This is a lot of money. Like it adds up. So it adds up to a billion. It adds up to $1 billion. For you to give out $1 billion, you must have a certain level of money. But yes.
Ama kurura liba hii. Wewe ni mtu mafi. Na wacha nikwambia wewe Rigiji, utajua sisi ni wanaume tulitahiriwa. Tuko na makende ya kutosha. Matako wewe.
Damn, tuko na makende ya kutosha. Matako wewe. So in the conversation these people are having. And yeah, sometimes we wonder why our politics is the way that it is, because if this is the sort of watu wakikosana, because shida ni wakikosana haikuwagi based on principle, inakuwaga based on the loot, like we were stealing and women isahau, alafu sasa tumekosana, so kutakuwa na hiyo. Alafu saa zingine pia kuna kuwaga na ile, I think the majuzi tulikuwa na wala law siku zote tulikuwa tunabonga juu, I think moja wao, I think ni Moha Mani Faisal, one of them talked about the 48 laws of power, And one of the 48 laws of power is never outshine your master. And when you hear these things of Rigiji banging the table, that's him outshining his master. Najua, as much as he was pissed off, he should have. Kumbuka Ruto siku zake na Uhuru, you could see. Kuna mpaka ile nini moja ile Uhuru msukumaga. Ile like anamsukuma na cheki Ruto iko. Hapa hizo siku akiitwa tanga. Uko na cheki used to humble himself. Alikuwa my boss. As soon as he became president, he changed jo. Mpaka Uhuru sasa anabidia juu like now things have changed. But he used to have a certain level of humility. Does that justify how Nani was treated? No, it does not justify vile Rigiji was treated. Of course, alikosewa heshima kabisa, and it's a sad state of affairs, but it is what it is. This is what Kenyan politics is. Kenyan politics has been turned into this thing where you have to be a thug, and now the best thugs survive. And now, who are those thugs who are surviving? You'll have to look at now the Oscar Sudis, because if you're ready to go to them with them to the gutter, they'll go with you to the gutter. And I think so that was one. And then you also have to look at it like for the Oscar Sudis of this world, Ruto most probably took them from nothing to wherever they are. Nakumbuka nikiwatch Sudi akiwa kwa Shea Obina when he was talking about his 2 gold watches, his 2 watches worth 17 million shillings each. And I'm there thinking like, damn, okay, so just your 2 watches ni worth 34 million. And yes, you have to be loyal. You have to be loyal to the president, and that's the reason why we're in this situation. Konene, najua mwaka ni mpya lakini injili ni ile lemfi. So kama uko US, uko UK, uko Canada ama uko the UAE na unatry kutuma do Kenya, baki umechangamka, ingia lemfi, utabaki umepata the most competitive rates. Lakini apart from that, on your first transaction ya $100 or more, utapata $20 sign up reward. So unangoja nini? Baki umechangamka, chap ingia lemfi. Lemfi, international payments for everyone. So yes, that was interesting to learn, but one thing ile najua Rigiji is right now, of course, if there's one thing that he wants to do is to make sure that the president is one term, and he's fully invested in that. And if I was to predict who he wants to really support for the presidency, according to Mimi, ni anataka kusupport Kalonzo. And that's one of the things that was also evident, like ukicheki interviews zake, ukicheki the way he carries himself, like everything hints at him supporting Kalonzo presidency. Will he be able to maybe make a lot of people who believe in Kalonzo? That's a story for another day. But yes, bado kulikuwa na story ya how yeye na Kalonzo kwa mwaku bonga mbaya juu ya gava. Now tukikam to the present, wacha tusikize.
Speaking during the funeral service of his late brother in Mwingi, Wiper Patriotic Front party leader Kalonzo Musyoka faulted the Kenya Kwanza government for what he termed as collusion between police and goons and called for the protection of ordinary citizens. He called for an audit of all persons issued with identity cards.
From here we are going to visit now, write a letter to the registrar of persons. Yule mtu anapeana IDs, huyo tunaenda kumsalimia. Hiyo barua mwandikie in advance, tuende atuonyeshe orodha ni watu wangapi wamezaliwa Kenya miaka hii miwili amepatia ID.
Okay, so hii story ya ID of course, tunajua Ruto alisema kutakuwa na stories za vetting. Wanasema ni extra vetting ikikam to stories za wase wako Northeastern. And that's interesting because majuzi, I think ilikuwa ni on Friday, my nephew was, alikuwa nauliza nephew wangu like, hey, ni aje juko 19, why don't you have an ID? Alafu ananitolea zile za I still had to get like my dad's death certificate and ID copy so that I can prove that I'm Kenyan. And so now on the other side, I don't know what's going to happen because what I justify Northeastern na nyanyake hakupatiwa ID, so it's going to be interesting. And this is all about winning the 2027 election. And anyone who does not think that's the case, who thinks, oh, this place had always been marginalized and it's always been discriminated against, I always go back to the fact that when akina Nani were very happy with the president, akina, what's his name, Duale, I never heard them complain about that. And saa hizi kutakuwa na lot of, in quotes, aliens with IDs, and itakuwa very interesting. Kwa ulisikia ile joke ya Ian ya Kenya and Somalia decides. It's actually tuendelee.
The Wiper leader reiterated that the opposition will continue to call for the removal of the president through the ballot under their clarion call and would not allow intimidation.
Waziri wake anaitwa Murkomen ati anasema ukimwambia Ruto one term utakamatwa ufungwe jela. Hiyo sio Kenya.
I think that was fake news. I remember nikiona hiyo article that Murkomen alikuwa amesema hivyo, but if it's an actual thing Zabaki umeshare na mimi, but I think I saw it as a post of some site, not called kuna kenyans.co.ke. This other one was kenyans something then .co. I was like, that looked like fake news, but it's politics, so you even run with the fake news.
Kwanza ndio sasa amefufua, itakuwa ni one term everywhere.
A few hours before Kalonzo spoke, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua was on the warpath with his former boss yet again. This time addressing the president's political base, the Kalenjin community. In a joint interview with media outlets from the community, Gachagua took it upon himself to advocate for the community while criticizing the president's conduct. He says the president started neglecting the Kalenjin community when he started working with the late Raila Odinga in the broad-based government.
Alafu na chikigeni wa weakness ya Gachagua. Gachagua always brings up tribe, and I know Kenyan politics go very tribal, but with this, one thing is for sure, you can never turn the Kalenjin community against Ruto. I know kuna watu watakuwa like, the Kikuyu turned against Uhuru. That was after his second term. First term, they never turned against him, so I don't expect. So this was one of those not only futile attempts, yes, and I guess kwa hii interview is the one pia he still released the Nani Sudi. It's going to change. It won't move the needle, but wacha tusikize.
Rais alipitishwa na kura ya mlima na ya Kalenjin. Sasa nikamuuliza rais, kama tumesahau hii wa Kalenjin walikuvumilia mwaka 5, wewe unachukua kila kitu unapeleka Nyanza kutembelea hii watu, ukija Kericho, ukija Bomet, unakuja kanisa interdenomination, bora ukuje kufungua project Bomet.
Sikia jo. So easy. Akisema, I think in his mind and his advisors' minds, he feels that this wins him votes. This alienates him. This makes Ruto look good. People are like, oh damn, Ruto alivotiwa na Kalenjin akasahau akaenda kudevelop Nyanza. Oh, okay. So he cares about Kenya as a country. That's how it looks. It does not look like the way Rigiji wants it to look. And I don't know, man, like kuna saa zingine mtu takatu kumwambia STFU, just shut the fuck up, man. Just some thoughts, zinatakwa nini, intrusive thoughts, have them but do not verbalize them, because when he verbalizes them they sound bad. Like that sounded bad.
Bora ukuje Kericho, bora uende Nandi.
Gachagua says that the Kalenjin community, despite having the president hail from the region, has largely been neglected. Rigathi says that while he fell out with his former boss, his relationship with the Kalenjin nation remains unscathed, seeking to allay fears that he would lock them out of the government were he to form it in the next elections.
Of course, history yake ya kuform the next government is also one of those stories that will never happen, at least according to Saizi. Come to how the Kenya constitution works. But yes, that's Gachagua, man. I don't know how he can be advised to come to tribalism, just to know how to, because kama hiyo, you can see even that statement, there's a way he could have been political and said, you know what, nilikosana because I felt like he was neglecting instead of kusema Kalenjin, kusema he was neglecting Rift Valley. There are these things in Rift Valley. I felt like he was losing focus. Asibonge juu ya Nyanza, because kibonga juu ya Nyanza, you know, alienate not only the so-called Lugos, but sasa kuna wakisipi hata feel a certain type of way, like, hey, this guy was never, and with that you drive them to Ruto. They're like, oh damn, kumbe Ruto was developing our regions as this guy was fighting it. And then if let's say Western hawakuvotia Ruto alafu kusikia ukibonga hivyo, you feel so. That's the problem that Rigiji will always have. I don't know, man, like, you had an opportunity to be the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, but you decided to be the Deputy President of the Republic of Central Kenya, and it's sad. Like a lot of people will say that it's about pride, and it's about tribe, and it's about... That's the nonsense that has kept us as third world. Tribe has not worked for us. Tribalism has not worked for us. Najua. Like, nikiangalia the tribalism, this is how I look at it. There's no region that I've ever gone to and been like, damn, you know what? Oh, this is a new Addis Ababa. I've never gone. Why? Because the leaders don't have to deliver anything. They know that all they have to do is come and just rally the people and tell the people, you know, this is our tribe. Oh, these people are fighting us. And then the other people will be like, oh, hell no, they are fighting us. It's the same nonsense. Like, nothing changes. So, I don't know, man. Rigiji, will you ever be a national leader? I don't know, man. But you know what I know? Is just like Pastor Dorcas, I'll pray for you. Ekonene.